where every 4 years the word party means the same thing as it does to the rest of the country. Two massive parties in multiple ballrooms still going on tonight down at the Washington Convention Center. The inaugural ball and the Commander-in-Chief's ball. There are other celebrations, of course, around town, big and small. But these are the biggest, and the big names from Alicia Keys to the cast of Glee to Jennifer Hudson at the Commander-in-Chief's ball, and President Obama introducing the First Lady.
I said today at the lunch over at the Congress that some may dispute the quality of our president, but nobody disputes the quality of our First Lady. Ladies and gentlemen, my better half and my dance partner, Michelle Obama.
And that was the first dance of the first couple tonight. Literally and figuratively, they have been to this dance before. This time around, the First Lady promised to slow down and try to take it all in. Just two parties instead of the 10 they raced through 4 years ago. Their day began with the ceremonial swearing in, and just like 4 years ago, it was a little bumpy.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
A slight stumble there, but unlike last time, there won't be any kind of a do-over because the official swearing in actually took place yesterday. Also, unlike last time, the speech, the first ever to mention rights for equal rights for gays and lesbians, and a much bolder statement in many ways of Mr. Obama's governing philosophy from here on out.
We, the people, declare today that the most evident of truths, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still. Just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall, just as it guided all those men and women, sung and unsung, who left footprints along this great mall, to hear a preacher say that we cannot walk alone, to hear a king proclaim that our individual freedom is inextricably bound to the freedom of every soul on earth.
A very big day for the president, for Washington, for the country. Very exciting day if you're fascinated by the clash of political ideas. We're going to be looking at the speech as politics and poetry, and the day as history, and the night as culture. Before we do that, let's listen to just a little of Stevie Wonder. With me now is senior political analyst and White House veteran David Gergen, presidential historian Douglas Brinkley. Also joins us, Washington Post contributor Robin Givhan, also author and Post editor, former news anchor, you name it, Sally Quinn. David, it is amazing. Let's talk about the speech, first of all. How important do you think a speech was this for Barack Obama? And given all his other speeches, where's the significance of this one?
Historically, I believe it's one of the most important speeches he's given in his political life.
Most important.
One of the most important. Philadelphia, I think, but during the campaign way back when, it was a wonderful speech. But because this speech defined what he really believes, it was the clearest delineation we've had from him. And I think, Anderson, in many ways, he's liberated. He feels liberated, in part because he inherited this mess, and we've gotten most of the way out of it economically, and the wars are coming to an end. Also because he has tried to reach out to Republicans and tried to be conciliatory, tried to be to the center, and thinks that hasn't worked. And now he's come along with a statement that firmly embraces a progressive liberal agenda that's very much in the tradition of King and of Lincoln, and he's rallied his base. We'll be talking in the next few days about all the negatives, and because negative reviews are coming in. But I think today, the day for President Obama, this is a day when he really defined what he believes fundamentally.
David, I mean, do you think this is someone said this is a speech he wished he could have given 4 years ago but wasn't able to? I mean, how did he seem to you today?
I thought it was a marvelous speech, and it's brave and it's bold, and I think it's going to play well in history. Not enough people are talking about the climate change part. There was a healthy paragraph about climate in there right now, and the evidence is in, as he said, the science is in. So 30, 40 years from now, the fact that he took an inaugural speech and used that kind of time and talked about climate's important, and just making Seneca and Selma and and
Stonewall
all in the same sense will be repeated over and over again as part of the American traditions of human rights and civil rights.
That was really historic. I mean, to hear the President of the United States mention the word Stonewall in the same sentence as Selma, as the same sentence as Seneca Falls, certainly for gay and lesbian Americans, that is a stunning statement and a real leap forward for gay and lesbian
Gigantic,
Americans.
And he connected it all to the patriots of 1776 that we keep widening in our democracy. And he made those places almost like battlefield spots in American history, like Oxford, Mississippi, or Normandy, or Iwo Jima. And it's an iconic speech.
That's what I was going to say, Anderson. Time and again, when presidents have come here for the inaugurals, when they've cited heroes, they've been military heroes. And for him now to come and talk about Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall and bring them all together is much more about a diverse, inclusive America with an emphasis upon equality of opportunity, not upon liberty. A Republican would traditionally have given a speech about liberty.
Because, I mean, the Stonewall was a group of people who were the most marginalized in society, yes, and sort of the most shunned, who weren't even allowed to congregate together in a bar at the same time without getting harassed and arrested.
Yeah, Stonewall from 1969 has been considered almost alternative left history for a while. Now gay studies has come into the fold. Here the President of the United States on Martin Luther King Days giving it that kind of oxygen. It's a very big moment for gay America.
I want to hear from Sally and from Robin, but Vice President Biden is speaking at the Commander-in-Chief ball. Let's just listen in for a moment.
They know who you are. They know what you've done. 1.7 million of you have walked across the scorching sands of Iraq or been in those God-forsaken mountains and plains of Afghanistan. Many of you just haven't served one tour. You have served 2, 3, 4, 5. The last time of the 23 or 4 times I've been in Afghanistan and Iraq, I was flying in a Bagram in a C-17. I went up in the cockpit. The loadmaster was there as well, and I said, how many of you, is this your first tour? Nobody raised their hand. I said, second tour, 1. Third tour, 2. Fourth, 1. Fifth, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we have never in the history of America asked so much of a generation. And you have met it with incredible pride. The Joint Chiefs of Staff has prepared you in a way that always sort of takes my breath away every time I see you in theater. One of the great honors of my life has been to visit many of you when you were serving abroad, from the mountaintops of remote fobs above the Konar Valley, watching 6 of you sit up on a mountaintop and get shot at every single solitary night and day in and day out, to a Stryker brigade in Fallujah, watching you wipe off the blood from the seat next to you, a wounded comrade the day before, and saddle up and go back out again and again and again. I'm not just saying this, folks. You're amazing. You are an amazing, amazing generation. And folks,
Vice President Biden speaking to Commander-in-Chief ball. We heard earlier from the president speaking at this same ball. He also spoke to troops live via satellite, is serving right now in Kandahar, Afghanistan, who obviously couldn't be there. Sally Quinn, I was really struck by how sort of confident and comfortable the president seemed on this day.
Well, you know what's interesting? I don't know whether you know the book The Power of Now by the spiritual guru Eckhart Tolle, but he talks about how you have to live in the moment. And President Obama said today, this is our moment. And it wasn't his moment 4 years ago because he couldn't do so many of the things he wanted to do if he wanted to get reelected. But now he doesn't have to worry about that. And this is his moment. It's his moment for immigration. It's his moment for gun control. It's his moment for equality. And that was, for me, that was one of the most stunning things he said, because he's in the now right now.
Robin, I'm wondering, as you watch these balls tonight, I mean, this is a tradition that goes back an awfully long way. So many people wondering what Michelle Obama was going to wear. What were you looking for?
Well, I think part of it, that what you look for is whether or not she's going to embrace a new designer, whether or not she's going to do something that takes her outside of sort of the corporate structure of fashion. And one of the reasons we all were enthusiastically watching is because we recognize that every time she does wear something from a young designer, she makes a very strong statement that kind of normalizes the fashion industry. She focuses our attention on the fact that it's an industry really made up of small business owners, a lot of female-owned businesses, a lot of immigrant-owned businesses, and people tend to forget that. They get kind of captivated by the red carpet.
Were you surprised she wore a Jason Wu dress, which is the same designer she wore 4 years ago?
I was gobsmacked that she wore.
Why?
Because she has always had a tendency to kind of spread the love around. I mean, one of the things that is really distinctive about her is that she hasn't settled in with one designer and become associated with one brand. But what she did for him was really quite extraordinary. She elevated him from near anonymity into a household name. And in some ways, I think it was a bit of a safer choice, because there's so much pressure on an inaugural gown to be this extraordinarily symbolic dress that I think she felt comfortable going back to someone who had done right by her.
Earlier in the day, she'd worn a dress and a coat by Tom Brown, and clearly has probably changed the arc of his career on this day.
Well, if I was gobsmacked by Jason Wu, I was just stunned by the choice of Tom Brown, because this is a guy who really comes from the menswear part of the business. And when you think about his work, I mean, the stuff that he puts on the runway is incredibly high concept. It is out there. And
fashion forward, as they say.
Out there.
Out there.
And that's the technical term for it.
Yeah.
And the fact that she could, or her emissary could even decipher that and find the sort of the real clothes in there and see the kind of tailoring that he does is tremendous. And it will do incredible things for his business, simply because people don't even know really that he designs women's wear.
Yeah, a lot more to talk about in the evening ahead. Robin and Sally, stick around. David and Doug, thank you very much. We're going to have a lot more in this hour. Let us know what you think about this day, about what you heard, about what you saw. You can follow me on Twitter at Anderson Cooper. I'll be tweeting tonight as well. We're going to have a lot more from all the inauguration balls, all what we have seen tonight so far, and more about the next 4 years as well when our special 360 coverage continues. But first, Stevie Wonder taking us to break.
Not every day you find a companion as loyal as a Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
How can power consumption in China impact wool exports from New Zealand, textile production in Spain, and the use of medical technology in the U.S.? At T. Rowe Price, we understand the connections of a complex global economy. It's just one reason over 75% of our mutual funds beat their 10-year Lipper average. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a prospectus or summary prospectus with investment information, risks, fees, and expenses to read and consider carefully before investing.
I miss you. Missed you too. That just get weird? Yes.
Kill him by 10 a.m.
So who's gonna do it? It's me. What do you want to do until then?
Get down! Stand Up Guys has got the goods. Clever, entertaining, and fun.
There's no key. It's a button. Oh, man, this is like the future.
Pacino, Walken, and Arkin are at the top of their game.